Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Lumentek Electrical's YouTube channel. My name is Trevor, and I'm here with Ryan, and he is the owner and operator of Lumentek Electrical, and they are out of the Red Deer, Central Alberta region. And if you guys are looking for an electrician for your home or business, call Ryan at Lumentek Electrical. You can just visit the website, lumentek.ca, and they'll be happy to give you a quote and come out and fix whatever electrical problem that you've got out there. So today we just want to talk about kitchen receptacles. Okay, so kitchen receptacles, there's a lot of code regarding kitchen receptacles, and when I say code, I mean the Canadian Electrical Code. So let's dive into kitchen circuits. Let's start off with kitchen counter receptacles.
So with your kitchen circuits, you've got, depends when the house was wired, but until kind of the late 90s, early 2000s, they didn't have ground fault receptacles. You had a split circuit coming in, two 15 amp circuits, and you break the tab out of the middle of your plug. You've got your top circuit, bottom circuit.
Right.
A lot of the time when people change their own plugs, they forget to break the tab out, and when they turn the breaker back on, there's a bunch of sparks. And we used to get a call.
Sparks and boom, and I don't know what happened. I just put a new receptacle on.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so really, and depending on how the panel is laid out, you could potentially get 220 volts right out of that one receptacle if you plugged in top and bottom. Very bad. Not so good for you. You can fry different appliances. But nowadays, they're wired differently. They're wired with just a single 20 amp. Is that right?
Yeah, if it's a new house, last 10 years or so, they use a 20 amp circuit on a GFI, and that's just 120 in there. There's no 240. There's no way you can really mess it up except for wiring your line and load backwards, and it just doesn't turn on. There's no sparks or anything like that.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. So it's a little bit safer for
Less scary.
Less scary. And then you can also daisy chain at least one other circuit to that, right? Or one other receptacle to it, right?
You can do one more plug, yeah. So two plugs per circuit, as long as they're not next to each other. They have to be leapfrog.
Yeah, so that you don't have overloading of the circuit. So you have a blender and an air fryer or something on the same circuit, they just trip the breaker, right? What other things have been changed in the Canadian Electrical Code regarding kitchens? So let's go through the whole gamut of appliances and receptacles and power sources for your kitchen.
So the first kind of big code change was GFIs, really, since I've been doing it since 2010. They started making GFIs required within 3 feet of a sink or anything with water. You have to have a GFI. And then since then, it's been changed now, so every single plug in the kitchen has to be GFI connected.
That's weird. To me, that's weird to have that many GFCIs in a kitchen. But anyway, it's moving on.
Island plugs need 2 plugs now, or 2 plugs if it's over 8 feet long. Need 2 plugs, and every other plug has to be arc fault protected now, except for your fridge, and it's only your kitchen fridge. If you have a fridge in the basement or the garage, it's still supposed to be arc fault.
That's insane. Okay, so what about your dishwasher? Does that need an arc fault?
No, because it's hardwired.
Okay, hardwired. No arc, right? Why can't we just hardwire our refrigerator? Don't need an arc fault breaker. So just arc fault breaker or arc fault receptacle?
You can do either by code. I prefer to do breakers because it's easier to see if you have one tripped. If you had it behind your fridge, it'd be annoying to pull it out. Unless you know fridges don't have to be arc fault. Like technically your microwave has to be.
Right.
So it's easier if it's just a breaker.
So a microwave, you've got your dishwasher. What about ranges? So if you have, let's say, a gas range, but it has like 120 side of it for the igniters and the electronics, what about that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I've always done it without, and I've never been called on it.
Yeah, because it's not running a motor. It's not running a motor or anything.
And you can't plug anything in behind there. The oven sits in the way. So it's only for your oven. Shouldn't be an issue.
So that's good. So we don't need an arc fault for that or a ground fault.
No. Yeah, there should be any water.
So just the receptacles where people can plug in their toasters and blenders and and these types of appliances. Not sure why you need a ground fault everywhere in the kitchen unless you're going to have a water fight. Like, I don't know.
We don't ask electricians for code rules. It's
They just tell you to follow them. Okay, so that's kitchens. And you got a call this week regarding that, which kind of sparked our conversation. You had a client who had wired his own receptacles. They needed to be replaced and didn't break the tab off between the hots on the receptacle, and
sparks came out. We got a call.
Yeah, go down to the breaker panel, turn it on, sparks. Oh crap, what did I do? Yeah, here we go. So if that's you, now you know what to do. Give them a call. It'll come and fix it for you. Any other wins this week? What else has been going on? You were telling me about a job where people had a 1970s automation, or I guess smart home. Tell me about that story.
That was a rat's nest of wiring, to say the least. That's the first time I've seen that.
Okay.
Basically, the whole house was wired with low voltage switching down to a relay panel, and then from there to each light. And what was happening is they're changing out a lot of the fixtures from the old incandescent fixtures. They're buying LED fixtures, upgrading stuff. And they just kept saying like lights were flickering, or they wouldn't turn on at all, or they would turn on sometimes, none of the time. So I went in there, pulled a fixture down, measured voltage, and there was like 60 volts. You should have 120.
Should have 120 volts, yeah.
And then I would like sit there with the meter for a second, and it would change to like 120, and then back down to like 20. It's weird. And you turn the switch on and off a few times, and you'd have proper voltage. So we ended up troubleshooting down to the relay, and the relay had failed. And replaced that. The light was working, but now they're having other lights in their house, kind of continually doing this because they're all starting to get pretty old. And
so now they got to replace all of those relays.
That's what we recommended, because now you're trying to troubleshoot if the light's bad and the lighting system, instead of a regular switch you just turn on. And
yeah, well, I mean, if it's an LED fixture, I mean, probably not the light, right? Yeah. Probably not, unless it got over voltage or something, but it's hard to wreck one of those things, but you can do it
with under voltage. You can wreck
under voltage too, yeah, especially if it's non-dimmable. If it's a non-dimmable one, that'll wreck them for sure. They're either on or off and they don't dim, so there's a problem with that. What else has been going on out in the Red Deer area for electrical projects for you?
Lots of Celebrate lights, and lots of those. Weather's changing, so it's been fun.
Yeah. So you're out there and it's cold and it's snowing, and it makes it more difficult to do.
Yeah.
But Celebrate lighting, people really love those because it helps them for any type of occasion. It adds even just general house lighting, right?
Yeah.
For outside, just put some kind of warm white light on the outside of the home, and just kind of lightens and brightens everything up, and it doesn't use a whole lot of electricity.
No, the whole system for most houses is like 50 watts. Just like all this stuff.
That's nothing. Like, I mean, you could put a 100-watt bulb in, like that burns more than your whole Celebrate system. So that's amazing, right? It's fantastic. So when it comes to we're closing out this year, 2024, moving into 2025, what are some goals that you have, like, to improve your customer experience or for your customers?
We want to get faster response time for calls. Right now, it's been a challenge just with trying to keep up with everything, and it'd be nice to have another guy. Yeah, that's a big one we've been trying to work on, is
right.
Try someone else to.
Yeah, that's the challenging thing when you are doing, like, you're the guy who kind of wears all the hats, right? So you're doing the work, you're also booking the calls, doing the quotes, doing the paperwork and all of that. Sometimes the calls kind of get lost in the shuffle, and that's a struggle that's not unique to you. It happens with all starting businesses. And usually that is solved by having good systems in place, and then having another person to really help with the workload, so that they can be doing the physical work and being on the tools while you can be managing the phone calls, customer requests, and quotations and things of that nature. So that's something that's always going to need some work, and you're always going to be finding ways to have your time bought back by hiring other people to do stuff, right? So looking forward to that next year. Anyways, guys, that's all I've got for today. And if you are looking for an electrician in the Red Deer area, so Red Deer, Blackfalds, Sylvan Lake, even all the way out in those areas, contact Ryan at Lumentek Electrical Contracting, and he'll be happy to come out and give you a quote and fix your problem. Talk to you later.